Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another weekly gaming news video. I am Toasted Synapse from tsgaming.net, and as per usual, feel free to check out the site tsgaming.net and share it and this video with your friends. Today we will talk about Metro Last Light will receive an FOV Slider, Rift will go free to play on June 12th, Wolfenstein The New Order concept art revealed, Nvidia Shield shipping in June for $349, Diablo 3 gold multiplying bug profits will go to charity, and Remember Me promotional site aims to tell a story. Shortly after Metro Last Light's release, 4A Games listened to the fans and will be adding a custom FOV slider within the next few days. 4A stated that there were valid reasons to keep a fixed FOV, such as the 3D elements like weapons, ammo that needed to remain visible to the player. They said that, in addition to all games' first-person cutscenes and cinematic, and each and every animation involving Artyom's hands, idle weapon animation, reloads, ladder climbing, melee attacks, etc., were created assuming the same fixed field of view. Changing the field of view would break all the cutscenes and animations. You would be able to see inside Artyom's hands, or they would appear to float in the air in front of you, or worse. It was also mentioned that the game's performance was also developed with a default FOV in mind, and making the FOV wider will result in some issues. They intend to give the player 3 custom FOV presets and revamp the animations, HUD and UI in order to match. Players should be expecting an update within a few days that will allow them to directly tweak the FOV in a config file. If you haven't seen the first impressions that I did on this game and the explanations that I gave when it comes to the FOV, I invite you to click the annotation that it's on the screen right now and check out my video. Basically what I said is exactly what 4A said when it comes to immersion and gameplay experience. And they went for a certain aesthetic view because they wanted their game to feel claustrophobic and creepy. That's all fine and dandy, and I enjoy that experience, but there are certain players that literally cannot play on the default FOV for more than 30 minutes. It's interesting to note that it only takes them a few days to implement those new FOV options, and I really wonder why this isn't yet a must-have for all games upon release. How hard would it be to have a text saying that this is the recommended FOV that you should play on, but you don't have to play it on this one if you get sick. Hopefully companies in the future realize that the PC monitor is not like the TV for consoles, it's right up in your face and it requires an FOV slider. Make that the standard for all future shooters, especially first person. Rift, the fantasy MMO from Trion Worlds, will go free to play on June 12. The full game will be available to all players. This includes the zones, dungeons, and other content that may come in the future updates. The business model that they are going for is an in-game store that will sell booster items, cosmetic modifications, mounts, and other items. The switch towards free-to-play will come with a major content update, version 2.3, called Imperial Assault. The current players in the game will receive rewards for commemorating the shift. The optional subscription method will remain available though, called Patron Benefits, that will offer things like increased mount speed and special experience bonuses. Bill Fisher, the creative director, declared that "We have been listening to feedback from our players and watching the continuously developing MMO community, and we are now ready to launch Rift as a premium free-to-play experience. After taking our time and planning careful transitions, we are very excited to bring an enhanced game experience to everyone, without barriers." Now, it remains to see if this model will be pay to win or not. Of course, they declared that, and I quote, "The best gear in game will always have to be earned through playing the Rift. But we'll just have to see." I haven't played Rift myself, but I know that the subscribers were dwindling, and making the transition to free-to-play seems like a smart move from Trion Worlds. I wonder if they will come up with new ways to market the game to people who haven't yet set foot in Rift. With so many free-to-play MMOs out there, and the average free time of a person limiting him or her to only 1 or 2 MMOs simultaneous, I wonder if they would get good profit out of this switch. New screenshots and concept art from Wolfenstein The New Order is revealed to the public. The next Wolfenstein title, developed by Machine Games, will be strictly single-player and will join the other titles that are out there in the series, including the one from Raven Software's Wolfenstein and Splash Damage's Wolfenstein Enemy Territory, which have online multiplayer components. The publisher, Bethesda, the same company that released Dishonored and Skyrim, also only single-player games, mentioned that Wolfenstein: The New Order will be a story-driven experience. The FPS is set in the 1960s, takes place in an alternative universe in which Nazis prevail in World War II, have taken over the world and have built an army of giant robots. It will be shipping to PC and consoles in the fourth quarter. Of course, you do have the screenshots in the background right here, and I have to say, they look great. Another story-driven game, like many others that were released recently, makes me tend to believe that the market is really open to these types of games. Let's just hope that no day one DLCs that include difficulty modes or unreasonable pre-purchases will be available. Nvidia Shield will be shipping to retailers in June for $349. According to the company, the Shield will be available for purchase really soon. Those interested can secure their purchase ahead of time by pre-ordering the portable device starting with May 20, and anyone that subscribed to the Project Shield newsletter on Nvidia's site can pre-order it starting now. The store that will be selling the Shield are GameStop, Newegg, Micro Center and Canada Computers, with more coming in the future, I assume. The device will be shipped with two titles, Sonic the Hedgehog 4 Episode 2 and Expendable Rearmed. Of course, other titles on the Google Play Android store will be available for download, and one would assume that new titles especially designed to be played with the device will be developed until then. I imagine you won't have the option of just getting Angry Birds and cut the rope on it for sure. Custom Quest, Broken Age from Double Fine, Fly Hunter, Origins, Skiing Fred and Chuck's Challenge will be some titles that will be coming out close to the Shield's release, as the developers have partnered up with Nvidia. I was always saying that the Android market was lacking some core games from their lists. Most games are what I like to call bathroom games that are basically worth playing 5 to 10 minutes a day, and games that I liked to play were not really under the developer flag. OpenTTD for the tablet would be a great example of a game that will offer you a lengthy experience, and it isn't really well marketed. I'm assuming that there are many out there that would like to see more complex games on the Android market, and let's hope that the Shield will make that happen. Diablo 3 gives away the gold multiplying bug profits to charity. This one is an interesting one. For those of you who don't know, Diablo 3 had an update release that permitted players to post an item on the auction house and cancel it right after, thus receiving both the money and the item back. Reports say that with this pub, players managed to exploit trillions of gold from the auction house and thus really hindering the game's economy. The auction house was brought down for maintenance and people got banned, Blizzard trying to get that gold back before it could create some serious harm. People who encountered the bug but didn't take advantage of it, i.e. only used it once or twice and then realized what was happening and stopped, will be allowed to keep their items and gold and not be penalized. John High, the production director, announced via Battle.net that we are also be donating all proceeds from auctions conducted by the suspended or banned players, including all of their sale proceeds that we intercepted, as well as our transaction fee, to Children's Miracle Network hospitals. He added that only 415 of those players chose to use this exploit for personal gain. Anyone that exploited the bug was banned or had that account roll back, deleting progress since the 1.0.8 update. The auction house was brought back online and the team is continuing to delete the duplicated gold rather than doing a complete rollback. This is, I believe, another marketing stunt by Blizzard trying to cover their tracks when it comes to the in-game auction house, especially the real money one. Rather than saying, we were wrong, let's solve the problem at its source and make people happy, they're going for the treatment of the symptoms rather than the actual cause. Of course, they want their fans to be happy, and who wouldn't be happy when it comes to a big company donating money to charity? So don't get mad at Blizzard, Project Titan is coming, you need to stay fans. Capcom released a promotional site dedicated for the upcoming Don't Nod developed Remember Me video game. The site aims to take the viewer into a journey throughout an experimental interactive journal that aims to fill some background information about the story. It follows the life of an inventor, Antoine Cartier-Wells, the man behind the creation of Sensen memory technology. That's basically an implant. It starts with Antoine's youth in the mid-1980s and up to 2016. It includes text, images, and video in addition to a nice soundtrack that can be heard when you open the site. The site is journal.remembermegame.com. The journal reads, "Through the Sensen, Memorize owns the most intimate and personal data of 99% of the population. Citizens are aware of Memorize's control, but are willing to accept it because of the pleasure that memory sharing and deletion has to offer. However, there are small numbers of activists who choose to fight against Memorize. They are known as the errorists." Remember Me will be coming to Windows PC, Xbox 360, PlayStation 3 on June the 4th. Yet another story-driven game will be coming out your way, and this time with a nice marketing strategy to get the consumers invested. It's a surefire way of stirring some hype, and the location and story really got me excited to see what this game will become. That's all for this week's gaming news. I do invite you to click the annotations at the end to check out the other playlists, namely the first impressions and the let's plays. Like, favorite and subscribe, check out tsgaming.net and share it with your friends if you like the content and you want to help out. This has been Toasted Synapse, and I'm signing out.